Well, we're back. I went to San Diego. We just flew back in. I caught an outrageous cold, and so I just stayed in the hotel room for a whole lot of the weekend at Humphrey's Half Moon Inn. But I'm back to do the news now. Welcome to the Doug TenNapel channel. We have Burchett on. This week's theme is going to be government waste and how now it's being exposed that all this money is being laundered back primarily to Democrats, some Republicans too, mostly Democrats. And the Democrats have their own narrative this week. We're going to get into that also, because that's going to be what they're going to be hitting on the whole week until they realize it too doesn't work. Welcome to the Doug TenNapel channel. This is where all the happy patriots are.
How did we end up where we are?
Well, that's an excellent question. And when you see people here in Tennessee paying 50% of their income to state, federal, and local taxes through through everything else, fees and everything else, and then they see us sending literally billions overseas to our enemies. I've uncovered $40 million going to the Taliban. A guy named Sean Ryan over in Middle Tennessee, former Navy SEAL, podcaster. He and another guy named Legend had brought this to my attention. And, last term, I could not even get the Democrats to bring it up in the Senate. It passed unanimous in the House, not even a question, because they're going to have to admit they made a mistake. And they continuously made a mistake, and they did it on purpose is the worst part about it. And this graph that you're seeing, and that's 100% what it is.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see a paper trail come back to Washington, D.C., and that's why I think a lot of people are nervous, and you'll see a lot of retirements because they are stealing from the American taxpayer, and now they've got their hand caught in the cookie jar, and all they can do is attack Elon Musk.
That's Tim Burchett. The paper trail goes back to Washington, D.C., and they got caught. So for probably the last, I would say 20 years at least, this whole grift has ramped up. We've documented how it really started its turn under the Clinton administration. That it's not that they were evil, it's they were believe that doing these kind of Democrat soft targets of DEI, political correctness, and using your taxpayer dollars to do those in the name of charity and helping the children. So we see them hide behind that still. USAID. It's like it's supposed to be these big compassion projects. And so everyone's afraid to call it out for its oversight and waste. One of my favorite projects is the light rail, the speedy choo-choo train.
So is this project legit or is it just a gigantic scam?
In California, where but this is on Gavin Newsom. This is one that I saw get passed in, it was around 2009, 2010. And it never had a plan to finish. It never worked. The people managing it, this is California type management. Watch this.
Whether you're into engineering or not, you've probably heard President Trump call California's high-speed rail project suspicious. But when you hear the following data, you might start seeing it as a massive scam. Listen to this. Approved in 2008 with a $33 billion taxpayer budget, the 500-mile high-speed rail project was meant to connect LA and San Francisco. Yet after 16 years, only 60 miles are track ready, an average of just 3.75 miles per year.
That's the biggest problem is they can't build it. It's in California, so they have to buy all the land, eminent domain. They have to claim land all along its path. And this is up and down the 99 freeway. So it's like the most expensive land and the most used land all in the entire San Joaquin Valley, which is that center part of California going up to San Francisco.
At this pace, it would take another century and countless billions more to complete. A project that's no longer what was originally promised, as it's now public knowledge that it won't actually connect Los Angeles and San Francisco. Widely regarded as one of the worst managed projects in history, the California high-speed rail attempted to replicate what France and many other countries accomplished decades ago for a fraction of the cost. So the obvious question is, what the hell is going on?
I'll tell you what's going on. Gavin Newsom, that's what's going on. This is his project. This is on him. And just a complete disaster. This is what I mean by the Democrats are hiding behind their grift. They've never been audited. They've never been checked. This is stuff that used to be popular even among Democrats to stop government waste. And now they don't talk about it anymore because they're all living off of government waste. This is from Resist the Mainstream. It says, just in, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries criticized President Trump and the Republican Party, claiming they have shown, quote, no interest in tackling the rising cost of living. What do you think of his comments? Now, I'm only bringing this up because this is the new narrative that I'm seeing show up this week. This is the new marketing campaign the Democrats are doing.
And here's a reminder that Donald Trump has done pretty much nothing to lower your grocery costs. Remember, during Donald Trump's campaign, he repeatedly promised to lower food prices immediately. He said on day one. But here we are, way past day one, and the cost of groceries has only gone up. Chicken wings cost over 7% more than they did a year ago. Egg prices have risen 60%. From $2.51 a dozen to over $4 a dozen. Look, instead of lowering costs for your family, Trump's been focused on cutting funding for hot meals for seniors and giving Elon Musk access to the system that makes sure that your grandparents get their Social Security checks on time. Donald Trump needs to buckle down and use the tools he has to lower grocery prices and deliver on his promises.
I saw some of it last week with Chuck Schumer saying, you haven't lowered the price of eggs, Trump. So they know that it's going to take a long time to be able to lower the cost of things in farming, especially eggs, but food and all that. The cost on those is like a lagging indicator. It takes a long time to turn that stuff around. So that's what they're trying to hit him on this week. I don't believe it's going to work. I mean, it shouldn't work. Because I think most people know you can't just turn on a spigot and start changing the prices of groceries within a couple of weeks, and that's all he's really been in office for. So I'm not making excuses for him. I just believe that him going after the billions of dollars that our government is wasting will have a long-term effect on the cost of all goods when you remove that waste. So he'll get to it. It's just, I'm just noticing the Democrats bring that up a lot, about the cost of goods, the prices of things. You know, it's going to take a long time, for instance, to drill enough wells to offset the amount of fuel that we need. It just takes forever. So it's going to take time. And in the meanwhile, they're going to be claiming all these victories of, haha, prices are still high. I only know they'd be higher under Democrats. How's that? I was understanding of people who got their news from New York Times and CNN or from trusting 60 Minutes and Meet the Press. They're well-intentioned, but unknowingly captured. But at this point, I think they're obtuse midwits who prefer the comfort of a false reality. This is about, again, my big cultural view, 1,000 miles up of what's happening in America. And you go from going, everyone was just watching a whole lot of mainstream media, and that's why they were all lost and confused. But at this point, as you're seeing all of this corruption come out now, there's an expectation on normal people to start saying, yeah, this is pretty bad. Yeah, this is pretty bad. And so I like that post. They used to have an excuse, but now it's getting to where I'm not going to give you an excuse anymore. There's too much corruption exposed. And then this post from Elon Musk is really interesting. According to Social Security database, these are the numbers of people in each age bucket with the death field set to false. Maybe Twilight is real and there's a lot of vampires. What does he mean by that? If you look at this, this is the age range of people on Social Security. 0 to 9 years old, you have 38 million. 10 to 19, they're in the Social Security program. This is 100 to 109-year-olds, okay? There are not 4,700,000 109-year-olds out there. And yet they're still in the Social Security program, meaning they're probably pulling a check even though they're dead. Here's the age of 110 to 119 years old. There's 3,600,000 people still in the Social Security program. And this goes all the way down to, here's 150-year-olds to 159-year-olds, 1,300,000. Here's 360 to 369 years old, there's one. So these are obvious mistakes that are on the Social Security rolls that this just exposes and shows that we know how to get them on the rolls. We don't have a system to get them off after they're dead. Doge is going after it. The Democrats are complaining about the price of lettuce and eggs. And Tim Burchett says it's going to all wash back to Washington, that there's a lot of grift going on where people are pulling from these invisible pockets of money to fund. He was saying we know that we've sent millions of dollars to fund terrorism. I'm Doug in exile.